All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for hanging in there with us. We're ready to bring you Challenger basketball, and a shot good by Lane Collum. Collum somehow managed to get that shot off, and it was fouled in the process.
And he'll go to the line for the possible 4-point play after that. That was a three. He's got all 6 of the Challenger points here early.
And the Cougars, and you mentioned, we were just talking a little bit in preparation for this game, that you thought that this Cougars team would probably do a pretty good job of hanging with the Challengers here in the first half, and that's what they've done so far. Free throw by Collum is good. He's got 7. The Challengers have 7. It's a 7-5 ball game. Thanks for joining us on Table Rock Sports tonight. Jim McCoy along with Mark McLemore. The drive the other way. That stars Zavedra. And it's a tie ball game at 7 each. Reese for the basketball between the circles. Collum down in the corner for Spurlock. Spurlock, not sure what he was thinking there, and it is picked off by the Cougars. Coming up with it is Jan Southamavong. Shot short by Illinois Valley. Spurlock with a long rebound. Now for Reese. Reese to Collum. Now driving the baseline. Dominic Lewis. His shot over the rim. But there is, I tell you what, once again, they got to make those chippies. And the shot from three-point range. Now the Challengers can make the difficult ones. That's 3 threes in the ball game for the Challengers as Cody Reese hits the triple. Steal by the Challengers. Dominic Lewis with the left hand loses control of it. And it is taken away by the Cougars. Hess with a drive to the hoop. 2. Challenger lead is now down to 1. 10-9 ball game halfway through the first quarter.
Each team with a couple of turnovers now, and pretty even ball game to start here.
Shot misses by the Challengers. Cougars have it, but it's taken away by Reese. Reese outruns the posse. He lays it up and in. Cody Reese with 5 quick points in the ball game. And a timeout called by the Cougars. It's a 12-9 ball game. We'll be back after this timeout on Table Rock Sports.
It takes meticulous planning, continuous monitoring, and forward thinking to deliver the perfect 3-egg omelet.
For several weeks, the Southern Oregon Sports Commission has shown you examples of good sportsmanship and bad sportsmanship. Here's why. 75% of youth athletes quit sports by the age of 13 because they're not having fun. 75% of rookie referees also quit each year. Why? Well, it's because of the way they're treated by coaches and parents. We can do better. We must do better. Know your role. Learn more at southernoregonsports.com.
Back at the ball game at the Pavilion, Hess is going to try a 3 for the Cougars. His shot just a little bit long, bounces around underneath the basket. Kai Koster, Braden Coppage, and Saavedra fighting for the basketball.
And so it's off one of the Challengers out of bounds to Illinois Valley.
So Hess will inbound. Looking for a man, and trying to make the move is John Southamavong, the 6'1" post.
He gets called for the offensive foul and trying to, I think he had a forearm holding off Braden Coppage, who's in the game for the first time.
And that's 16 fouls already for the Cougars, and we're just midway through the first quarter. Skip pass from Koster to Reese, now inside, and they tried to feed Coppage. Trying to make a move to the hoop is Collum, and the ball goes out of bounds. Last touched by Trevor Kitching, 5'6" sophomore.
And Illinois Valley in a zone here to start. Looks like a 1-3-1. Actually, they may have changed it to a 2-3 now.
Sean's pass to Koster. Gets the feedback from Collum. He eyes the triple, and he buries it. Kai Koster
Good to see that from Kai. Worked with him a little bit on Sunday on his shooting from the three-point line. He knocks down the first one. Love to see it.
Coster, Ashland transfer, a junior, and we have a travel call against the Cougars. So Challengers get it back, and Coach Brian Morse, as he usually does quite a bit early in the season, substitutes pretty liberally.
Well, he wants to get an idea of how each of the different kids are going to react when they're on the floor.
So Coster's in there along with Reese. Call him down in the corner. Coster, cross court to Reese. Now to Braden Coppage. Coppage to Lewis in the low post. Lewis back out top, swinging around to Coster. Coster facing a little bit of pressure against the taller opponent. That is Tanner Jolly. And ball is swatted away. It goes out of bounds. And now Ryan Crowell, who had a couple of trays off the bench on Saturday night, comes in.
He made a couple in the JV game as well earlier this afternoon. JV game for the boys at 4:30. Girls game at 6, and now the varsity boys at 7:30.
And wins, and the boys will try to see if they can't make it a sweep for the evening. Coster with the basketball, loses control of it for a second. Active hands defensively by the Cougars. I'm not sure about that, but what they did say is that it was off the Challengers, and it'll be Cougar ball.
Well, it didn't look like it, actually. It looked like it went off one of the Cougars to me. But
yeah, that's what I was saying, yeah.
I agree with you on that one, but
yeah.
Challengers don't get the call, and we're not the ones that matter. So
no.
The guys with the whistles.
You know, when it comes to knowing your role, our role is to describe the game for you, and we don't get to make the calls.
Nope, and that one's going to go on Dom Lewis for a little over-aggressive hands out in front. And I do like what the Challengers are doing, and we talked about that, you and I did before the game as well, how the Challengers want to pressure the ball this year. That's one of the changes you're going to see on this team from a year ago, is they're going to put a lot more pressure on the ball, and you see it right there.
Lewis swats it away, and Reese tries to get it. Now Hess has it along the baseline on the near side, being hounded by Reese. Pass up top to the postman, Amavong. Now to Saavedra between the circles. Ball taken away by Coppage. Coppage being hounded on defense. And the ball's loose on the floor. Lewis has it. He'll be tied up. And
it's going to be a jump ball.
That will end up the possession arrow. Favors the Challengers. So the Challengers out front early, 15-9. Crowell with the inbound. Gets it to Coppage. It looks like he lost the handle on the feed.
And, well, as he lost it, he got hit in the back by Stars Saavedra. And they're going to call the second foul on him. And already Illinois Valley has put the Challengers in the bonus here.
Coming out of the game will be Reese. Crowell comes out. Spurlock headed into the ball game. Keegan Shawn back as well. Looks like Spurlock will come in at the next available opportunity for Coppage, who's at the free throw line, who is a beast on the boards for the Challengers Saturday night.
Yeah, he plays much bigger than he is.
First free throw attempt. It rolls around. It goes down. Challengers lead is 7 with 1:58 left to go in the ball game. Now he'll get a second one.
That's one of the things to remember the Challengers struggled with last year, was shooting free throws. And I know Coach has put a lot of emphasis on it this year. Let's see if it helps. And so far, they're 3 for 3.
Well, it's a good way to start.
Absolutely. And Illinois Valley now with the basketball, and you're going to see a little full court man-to-man pressure from the Challengers.
Spurlock in along with Coster, Collum, Lewis, and Keegan Shawn. Hess, the 6'2 guard, coach's son, working his way out of the backcourt. Wheels and deals going to the left hand. At Coster.
And a 5-second count. Good defense by Coster. The Challengers get the ball back on the turnover.
Well, and isn't it true, Mark, that the way to make defense work, it's got to be a team thing. You can't have just one good defender and 3 mediocre ones, but you got to have guys that it's a total team effort in order for it to work. Coster.
It's a mentality is what it is, and I think that's what you're trying to say, and that's true. Everybody's got to be on the same page.
Coster with the miss. The Challengers keep the basketball. Now it is Spurlock. Tries to pass across the paint, and he can't control it. It goes out of bounds. So maybe the Challengers not quite as slick with the ball as they were on Saturday night. But this a better team than what they saw when they faced off against Rogue River.
Yeah, I think so. I think this team's much better than that, although they've struggled turning the ball over so far against the pressure. 6 turnovers already for Illinois Valley here in the first quarter, and that challenger pressure has made a difference in this game.
Hess being guarded by Coster. Samavong starts to make a move.
And he traveled with it, I think.
Another Illinois Valley turnover. So it looks like, yeah, we've got our fair share of what I would guess to be exchange students on this Cougars team. Saavedra and Samavong. Well, we're going to go with that for now. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Lewis tries to feed it inside to Sean. Now back out to Lewis. He fires, and his shot a little bit off to the right. No good.
I think they're going to get a little push in the back by Lane Collum on the rebound, and it'll be Illinois Valley ball.
For Collum, that's his first personal of the ball game. 1:04 left to go in the first. Hess being hounded by Reese. Reese right there, just like gnats at a picnic. Well, the basketball now is Tanner Jolly. Jolly kicks it back out for Hess, and it's taken away by Reese. Reese almost left it behind, and we have a foul as Reese was trying to make his move.
I think that's going to go on Hess. That's his second, and you know it's always rough for you when you get the ball stolen from you, and then you end up getting called for the foul as well on the way back down the court. And you mentioned it, Reese doing a good job of putting the pressure on.
Well, I tell you, it seems like, yeah, one will follow the other. That'll be the turnover, then the frustration.
So Cody Reese has got 5 points so far in this one. He's at the free throw line again for attempt at number 6.
Shot by Reese. That rims out, and South Lamavong ends up with it. Outlets to Hess. Hess guarded by Reese. And in this case, they're going to end up calling Reese for the block.
Yeah,
Didn't have his feet set.
Well, they'll let you get away with a little contact, but you can't overdo it. And that time a little shove by Reese gets called.
Hess with the inbound goes into Stephen Shirley. Decent amount of height on this roster. South Lamavong, his shot just a little too hard off the rim. And then as Tanner Jolly climbs the golden ladder for the rebound, he ends up tumbling to the floor like dice, and he ends up giving up the basketball.
Traveling violation is what's called there. Kind of an interesting call if you ask me. But
yes.
I think that's one of those where both officials kind of looked at each other, and one decided, okay, well, we'll just call travel and move on.
Collum, cross court to Reese. Now to Coppage on the baseline. His shot just a little bit long. South Lamavong, who's been a leading rebounder for the Cougars, outlets for Hess. Hess loses the basketball. Collum has it. And with time running down, a little bit runner, he probably had more time than he thought. Coppage tries an attempt at the end, and that will end the first quarter of play. After one, it is the Challengers 17 and the Cougars 9. Will return after this timeout on Table Rock Sports.
Hello, I'm Lennox Scott, Chairman and CEO of John O. Scott Real Estate. In 1931, my grandfather started John O. Scott Real Estate. I would like to take a moment to thank you for your trust in allowing us to serve your real estate needs. Helping you realize your home ownership dreams is why we do what we do. But one thing is clear, it takes place one client at a time, each individual buyer or seller, because at the end of the day, it comes down to you. The past few years have been an incredible time of growth for us. We now have over 110 offices and more than 3,000 broker associates in the states of Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and California. But our higher purpose is living life as a contribution.
Your John L. Scott scoreboard shows the Challengers on top in this one after one frame of play, 17-9. Cougars with the inbound. And good scoring first quarter for the Challengers. Maybe a little wild and woolly at times, but.
Oh, what's interesting, they've only got 1-2, and they have 4 threes in that first quarter.
With the basketball, it is Kitching. Now to Hess at the corner of the free throw line. Kicks it back out for Saavedra. Saavedra, guarded by Lewis, starts a drive. Ball's loose on the floor. And they're going to end up calling Lewis for the push.
And that's Dom's second foul.
So while the Cougars got out early with 6 early fouls, now they stand at 8 for the half. Challengers rapidly catching up.
Challengers 5 for 13 in that first quarter. Meanwhile, IV 4 for 8.
But the Challengers, I would imagine, an advantage on, well, the three-point shooting.
The three-point shooting, exactly.
Reese, guarded by Hess, picks up his dribble and tries to force a pass. Ball's taken away by Hess, up the floor to Kitching, and foul against the Challengers. So Challengers a little sloppy with the basketball early on. And the foul will go against Nathan Spurlock. That'll be his first of the ball game. 6th team foul for the Challengers to the Cougars' 8. Hess in the corner, feeds it inside, and with a nice look is Jolly, but he ends up missing the shot. And
foul's called. It looks like it's going to go on who? I'm guessing it must be going on Herrera, and that'll be his second.
Noah Herrera.
Oh, it's his third. Wow. So Herrera in early foul trouble.
So Samavong, South Amavong, who took a quick rest on the bench, is quickly back in the ball game. And at the free throw line is Nathan Spurlock. First free throw attempt, just a little bit short.
So the Challengers now missed both of their one-on-one opportunities here late in the first quarter and early in the second.
Steal by the Challengers. Lewis with the basketball in traffic. And just, I guess, the overall impression I have, and I know that makes it sound like I'm really critical of Cascades early in this ball game, but they're just out of control.
Well, they are 6 turnovers here early. Not that it's been much better for IV. They have 9 turnovers early. Both teams a little sloppy here.
Try to feed it in the low post, but good defense by the Challengers. Outlet from Spurlock to Reese, now to Lewis. Lewis drives to the hole, gives a little shoulder fake, and then he kisses it off the glass for 2.
Yeah, I love the fake there as he gets one of the Illinois Valley players in the air and goes by him, and he's able to finish.
Challenger lead is now double digits, and going the other way.
Offensive foul.
Well, and you can always tell when it's an offensive foul by the way the bench reacts, because they really take a lot of pride in being able to thwart the opposing offense in that way.
And Saavedra has to go to the bench. He's got 3 fouls. So 2 Cougars with 3 fouls here in the first half. And we're just barely into the second quarter.
6:25 to go in the half and counting. Reese with the basketball. Now to Collum. Collum to Lewis. Reese finds Sean on the high post. Kicks it out to Collum. His shot just a little bit long. The ball's tipped around. South Amavong tries to quickly outlet up the floor to Kitching. Kitching, maybe if he were about 6'8", he would have got the handle on it, but since he's about 5'8", unable to haul it in.
So, and another turnover again for Illinois Valley. So they've got 12 now.
Ideally, that would probably be about as much as you would want for a game.
Exactly.
Bounce pass to Sean on the baseline as he starts to make his move against South Amavong. We have a whistle. And now it's double bonus time for the Cougars. And we have Braden Coppage getting ready to check in. First free throw attempt, nothing but net by Sean.
So Keegan Sean able to take advantage of his opportunities at the free throw line.
He had a nice game on Saturday night against the Chieftains, 6 for 9 from the floor.
Yep. Made his free throws as well. And
well, you just make your life a lot easier when you can.
And then here we go with the officials and the they don't like the fact that Braden Coppage has black tape. So now that he's got to put white tape over his obviously he got a scratch on his arm. And, I mean, this is the kind of crud that drives you nuts with the refs.
Yeah.
I mean, he got a scratch on his arm. They don't like the color of the tape that they put over it.
And,
I mean, come on.
Well, like, what difference does it make?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Makes no difference.
I mean, I don't think with all the other rest of the color of his uniform, I don't think I would mistake him for a Cougar.
So what they do, they put some purple tape over so it matches the rest of his uniform.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, we ran across some of the same silly things in soccer season. Had a ref tried to tell me that our guys didn't have regulation shin guards.
Oh, boy.
Kitchings with the basketball. Now up on the high right wing for Hess. Hess starts a drive. Kitchings is going to fire the three. Off to the left, no good. Lewis with a long rebound. Up the floor to Reese. Reese kicks it out for Collum. Collum starts to drive the baseline. Lewis has a look, and his shot off to the right, no good. And Lewis showing so far a penchant for streakiness, and he's in the cold streak at the moment.
They're going to get Keegan Sean. I mean, there has been a lot of whistles in this game is all I got to say about that. Keegan Sean with his second personal.
And that will put the challengers in the bonus. Now Christian Bram getting ready to check in.
And so far it's been a bit of a free throw shooting contest by both teams.
At the free throw line is Isaac Cannell, 6'1" sophomore. Free throw attempt off to the right, no good. And they say Southamabong as he went for the rebound. But he got his hand on it last as it went out, and it'll be challenger basketball. Kai Koster, junior guard from Ashland, back in the ball game. Down in the corner, Coppage, now to Koster. Feeds to Lewis, bounce pass to Brem. Brem kicks it back out for Lewis. Cross court it goes for Collum. Collum to Lewis. Lewis shakes a defender, and they call a travel.
Call him for a travel. Challengers moving the ball well, though, against the zone. You could see the ball moving. They were getting open looks in between the seams and making the zone work. And I like to see that. That's good ball movement by Cascade Christian against the zone.
So 5 minutes to go in the half. The Challengers outscoring the Cougars 3-0 here in the second quarter.
And we have another whistle.
Tanner Jolly with the shot.
And that one looks like it's going to go on Collum.
And for Lane, that will be his second of the ball game. No Challengers in foul trouble just yet.
Yeah, well, the amazing part is here we are, 5 minutes to go in the second quarter, and there's been 18 fouls called.
First free throw attempt by Cannell is good. Making it a 10-point game. He'll have another look. And he gets that one to go. Challenger lead is 9 with 4:50 to go in the half. Collum to Coppage. Passes. Back into the corner. Now back out for Collum. Cross court it goes for Koster. Koster going to his left. Now Collum eyes the triple. This one a little bit off target, no good.
Like to see him step up a little closer to the line before he shoots that.
Kitchings has it down low. Too much traffic there. He'll get it for Hess. Hess looks inside and going to the hoop. Missing the shot is Jolly. But there's Southamabong. And he gets it to go.
7-point lead for the Challengers. They need to make a bucket. They haven't made one for a while.
Collum with the basketball.
And Coach Morse is going to call a timeout.
4:03 left to go in the half. Your John L. Scott scoreboard. The Cascade Christian Challengers and the Illinois Valley Cougars 13. We'll take a timeout and be back with more boys basketball on Table Rock Sports.
Dear Dad, I was afraid to say this to your face, but I heard you yelling again from the stands during my game. You were shouting at the coach, the refs, even the other parents. It embarrasses me when you yell at everyone. It really stresses me out. I love sports. I love my team. I just want to play, but not if you always lose your temper. Love, Katie.
Know your role. Learn more at southernoregonsports.com.
To me, when our customers come in and shop with us, a good share of them, probably the best compliment that I feel I can get is when the customer just shops up and down the aisles and doesn't look at the price tag on the item. they know that if they buy their weekly, monthly, daily needs, that they will save money shopping at our store. That's the best compliment I can get.
South Amafong with the rejection. Now Reese will come back into the ball game. Coming out will be Braden Coppage. So much like we saw on Saturday night, Coach Morris substituting early and often. Column to Reese.
Right now he's kind of looking for somebody that can make a bucket, I think.
Lewis with the basketball. He had 15 on Saturday night, but I think he's scoreless so far. Shot by Column won't go, but it's tapped back out, and Column drives to the hoop. Circus shot is good.
Wow. That gives Column 9 in the game.
Trick shot Column there. Puts the Challengers back up by 9. And a little discussion about who has the basketball.
And, of course, it ends up with Illinois Valley. It looks like that Challenger bench not very happy with that.
It wouldn't appear so. Hess with the inbound. Way up high for Kitchings. He starts a drive, picks up his dribble. Hounded by Column. Now to Hess in front of the Challenger bench. Trying to get something set up here. It's broken up by Column. Column with the basketball against Kitching. And as he makes his move to the hoop, he is fouled in. He'll go to the line.
And another turnover for Illinois Valley. That Challenger pressure, again, specifically Cody Reese, hassling the passer. And another pass gets picked off, and another turnover for Hess. Hess has 4 turnovers in this game. A lot of them caused by Cody Reese.
First free throw attempt, a little bit long by Column. For Kitching, that is his second personal of the ball game. Double bonus right now. Second attempt over the front of the rim and down it goes. Challengers back out by 10. Hess with the basketball. He's quickly trapped. Now to South Amivar between the circles to Hess. Jolly with it. Tries to kick it back out. And we have a 3-second call against the Cougars.
That's Jolly in the key that time. And I think the Challenger bench sort of talking to the officials about that.
Give him a little help, you know.
Give him a little help.
Reese with the basketball to Lewis. Lewis starts a drive and then feeds it to Sean. Sean short shot, just a little short, gets his own rebound, and that one goes.
Just Keegan's first 2 shots of the game there. Missed the first one and got his own rebound and put it back.
25-13. Sean with the basketball. Quick lift the floor to Lewis. Lewis lays it up and in.
Again, a nice little easy bucket based on a Cody Reese pressure and another Hess turnover. So excellent pressure by Cody Reese.
Hess guarded by Reese, of course. And he'll drive, and now trying the 3 is South Amivar. His shot off the back iron. There with the rebound is Lewis. He'll get it to Reese. Reese to Dom. Dom tried to bull rush to the hoop. Nothing going there. Now Sean has it. We'll get it back out for Column. Column scoring the first 7 points of the ball game. And Column thought for sure that should have gone off of IV. A little discussion going on down there. And
well, it did go off of IV, but apparently we didn't see it. And so the basketball is going to be IV's.
All right, we have a timeout called with 1:42 left to go in the half. And we'll take a timeout and be back with more here on Table Rock Sports.
What is a getaway? Is it leaving the familiar behind? Or discovering a place that feeds your hunger? Where passion sings, food is a culture, and every performance demands an encore. So let the journey be your destination. Then feast your eyes and nourish your soul in Southern Oregon. Your reservation starts when you travel Medford.
For several weeks, the Southern Oregon Sports Commission has shown you examples of good sportsmanship and bad sportsmanship. Here's why. 75% of youth athletes quit sports by the age of 13 because they're not having fun. 75% of rookie referees also quit each year. Why? Well, it's because of the way they're treated by coaches and parents. We can do better. We must do better. Know your role. Learn more at southernoregonsports.com.
Challengers on the breakaway. Lane Collum off of another Cascade Christian steal. The Challenger lead is now 16 in the ball game. I'll update the scoreboard here. Here we go. With the basketball is Isaac Cannell. Now to Hess. Jolly with it. Left of the top of the key. Try to feed it inside to South Amivar. And it is broken up by the Challengers. Coster getting a hand on it, and now Collum has it. Keegan. Collum says, oh, I'll take a look at that. And just a little bit short, but good hustle by Sean, but couldn't quite corral it before it went out of bounds. And now Spurlock and Brem come in for Cascade. Spurlock, the 5'11 junior forward.
NIV having trouble scoring in this quarter. All the pressure from the Challengers. They only have 4 points in the quarter. Cascade Christian with 12.
And a steal by Reese.
Well,
Unfortunately, though, he dribbled
knocked it
out of bounds
before he stole it. But, man, Hess is not liking playing against him.
No, I don't think anybody does. Reese up the floor to Coster. Coster goes to the hoop. He lays it up and in. Oh, gosh, you got to have it like it when you got a guy like Coster you can bring off your bench. Going the other way, a travel call. When it rains, it pours. Cannell. Now the Challengers with 21.5 to go in the half. Reese will walk it up the floor. Picks up his dribble. Cross court it goes to Coster. Guard-to-guard exchange with Reese. Reese starts a drive. He'll go hard to the hole. His shot just a little bit short. I think he may have heard a couple of footsteps. And that will end the first half of play. Your score after 2 quarters, it is the Challengers 31 and the Cougars 13. We'll take a timeout, and then we'll be back with your halftime here on Table Rock Sports.
Hello, I'm Lennox Scott, Chairman and CEO of John O. Scott Real Estate. In 1931, my grandfather started John O. Scott Real Estate. I would like to take a moment to thank you for your trust in allowing us to serve your real estate needs. Helping you realize your home ownership dreams is why we do what we do. But one thing is clear, it takes place one client at a time, each individual buyer or seller, because at the end of the day, it comes down to you. The past few years have been an incredible time of growth for us. We now have over 110 offices and more than 3,000 broker associates in the states of Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and California. But our higher purpose is living life as a contribution.
What is a getaway? Is it leaving the familiar behind? Or discovering a place that feeds your hunger? Where passion sings, food is a culture, and every performance demands an encore. So let the journey be your destination. Then feast your eyes and nourish your soul in Southern Oregon. Your reservation starts when you travel Medford.
For several weeks, the Southern Oregon Sports Commission has shown you examples of good sportsmanship and bad sportsmanship. Here's why. 75% of youth athletes quit sports by the age of 13 because they're not having fun. 75% of rookie referees also quit each year. Why? Well, it's because of the way they're treated by coaches and parents. We can do better. We must do better. Know your role. Learn more at southernoregonsports.com.
It's halftime, and the Cascade Christian Challengers lead in this one, 31-13. In case you missed the earlier ball game on TableRockSports.net. And by the way, you can catch video of prior contests on demand. Visit TableRockSports.net and look for the game that you missed, and you can watch it at your leisure. And earlier tonight, the Cascade Christian Challenger girls get their season off to a good start with a 51-37 victory against Illinois Valley in that game. We had Caitlin Willard with 17 points, Sophie Ferreira with 14 off the Challenger bench, and then Paisley Fish making her Cascade Christian debut with 10 points in the ball game. And wasn't always pretty at times, but really a solid night for the Challenger girls as they look to get this season underway. And good to see the nice blend of veteran and youthful faces working together. Then the JV game, Mark, I know at one point it was 55-15 at one point, but suffice it to say the Challenger boys cruised to victory in that one earlier tonight.
Yeah, and some of my freshmen got an opportunity to play too, which is good to see. And yeah, so the JV game went the Cascade Christian Challengers' way too. So stats for the first half real quick. Let's run through those. I think the biggest one that I see is turnovers. Illinois Valley with 20 in that first half. So that Challenger pressure is very effective against Illinois Valley here. The Challengers, though, didn't do that great. They had 8 turnovers in the first half. But what the Challengers did do is they did a good job of hitting the offensive glass. And because of all those turnovers, they got 26 shots in that first half to only 15 for Illinois Valley. So Illinois Valley ends the half 5 for 15. That's 33%. They were 4 for 8 in the first quarter, so they shoot 1 for 7 in that second quarter. So a rough quarter for them offensively. The Challengers take advantage and build a lead here, leading 31-13 at half. So those 20 turnovers, that's the kind of basketball that the Challengers want to do this year. They want to be more of a pressure team, challenge guys, with the defense, and then get some opportunities in transition. And you saw that in that first half. Scoring so far in the game for Illinois Valley. Savendra had 2, Jolly had 2, Hess with 2. Actually, Jolly had 4, Hess with 2. Herrera had 3, and South Hamavog, however you say that, it had 2. So they really, the highest scorer for them, Tanner Jolly, with 4. So kind of balanced on those guys that pretty much the guys that started, each with a couple of points. They got some foul trouble, though, and that's kind of been also a problem for them. Herrera has 3 fouls, as does Saavedra. He also has 3 fouls. So 2 fouls for Kitching and 2 fouls for Hess as well. So a lot of fouls called in that first half, and a lot of them on Illinois Valley. For the Challengers scoring in the first half, Cody Reese had 5, Kai Koster with 5, Keegan Shawn had 3, Dom Lewis with 4, and Lane Collum with 10 to lead the way for the Challengers. So I like the pressure on defense. I like the aggressiveness of Cascade Christian. They picked up a few fouls of their own, but nobody has more than 2. Keegan Shawn, Dom Lewis, and Lane Cullum all with 2, which is acceptable at half. And the Challengers, you can kind of see their identity as we watch these first couple of games. They want to pressure the ball. They want to get some opportunities in transition, and they need to cash those in to be successful. They shot the Challengers 10 for 26 in the first half, 38%. And again, Illinois Valley 5 for 15, just 33%.
So not always a pretty half for the Challengers, but again, seeing what the Challengers want to do in terms of trying to forge some success in this season, and so far getting the job done. I want to remind you that coming up on Thursday night, the Challengers will be playing in the Hosanna Christian Tournament, and that game will be played on Thursday night, and then they'll end up against one of the better 1-8 programs in the state, Sherman, that game at 1:30 on Saturday. Right here, Challengers lead by 18. It's 31-13. We'll take a final timeout, and then we'll get ready for the start of the second half. Right now, it's the Challengers 31, the Cougars 13. We'll be back after these messages on Table Rock Sports.
It takes meticulous planning, continuous monitoring, and forward thinking to deliver the perfect 3-egg omelet.
For several weeks, the Southern Oregon Sports Commission has shown you examples of good sportsmanship and bad sportsmanship. Here's why. 75% of youth athletes quit sports by the age of 13 because they're not having fun. 75% of rookie referees also quit each year. Why? Well, it's because of the way they're treated by coaches and parents. We can do better. We must do better. Know your role. Learn more at southernoregonsports.com.
What is a getaway? Is it leaving the familiar behind? Or discovering a place that feeds your hunger? Where passion sings, food is a culture, and every performance demands an encore. So let the journey be your destination. Then feast your eyes and nourish your soul in Southern Oregon. Your reservation starts when you travel Medford.
For several weeks, the Southern Oregon Sports Commission has shown you examples of good sportsmanship and bad sportsmanship. Here's why. 75% of youth athletes quit sports by the age of 13 because they're not having fun. 75% of rookie referees also quit each year. Why? Well, it's because of the way they're treated by coaches and parents. We can do better. We must do better. Know your role. Learn more at southernoregonsports.com.
Back here at the Pavilion, we're getting ready for the start of the second half. Don't forget that coming up here in a couple of short weeks, just after Christmas Day, the 3-day Cascade Christian Christmas Classic. Right here at the Cascade Christian Pavilion, you have a variety of local favorites, including the Ashland Grizzlies girls. We also have, I believe, the Crater Comet girls will be here as well. We have a couple of teams over from at the Basin and Klamath Union, also Eagle Point, and then some of the best 3A programs in the state. Right now, we're at the top of the heap as Sandy M. Christian, as it seems like they're almost always are. They will be down here for the tournament, as well as the Dayton Pirates, and these are teams right in that mix of the top competitors season in, season out. And you can catch them right here. You get one of those tournament passes.
Yep.
You can take as much basketball as your eyes can see.
Yeah, get a tournament pass for the whole weekend, and you can come and go as you want. It's going to be good food, too. Concession stand will be open the whole weekend, and it's just a fun event. Russell Brown runs the music. A lot of good music going on between games and during games, so it's just a fun event.
Challengers start out the second half with the basketball. They're in their home white uniforms. Lewis in the corner to Collum. Lewis going to drive the baseline. Picks up his dribble, back out to Collum. Sean, he gets an open look from three. He buries it.
Keegan Sean shooting this year much better, much improved from last season. He knocks down another one. He's 2 for 3 tonight after going 6 for 9 against Rogue River.
Well, he's just going to be one of those guys that will give you a little bit of everything. And that's just what you call, he might possibly be the best athlete in the school.
And just like that, Dom Lewis picks up foul number 3 and is probably going to hit the bench if he, let's see what coach is going to do. I guess he's going to leave him in there.
Yeah, give him a little bit of slack. But he picks up another one soon. You'll see a lot of pine in the second half. Saavedra with the basketball against Lewis. He'll dribble to his left. Looking for Hess cutting to the hoop, but Hess well defended by Reese. Jolly with the basketball to South Amivar. And
here we go. I think we're going to get a foul on Keegan Sean.
And that'll be Keegan's third of the ball game. So now a couple of key players for Cascade Christian and a little bit of foul trouble of their own. Steal by Lewis. Lewis headed for the hoop. Outruns the posse. His bucket is good. And he's fouled.
Nice job of reaching for the hoop that time. and making the defender go over the top to get to him. Another turnover by Illinois Valley turns into another run out for the Challengers, and that's really where they've won this game, is on those transition opportunities.
You know, after all these years of doing radio, one of the things I have to start getting used to is
updating the scoreboard. Lewis misses the free throw.
34-13. Saavedra drives to the hoop. Good defense there by Lewis. Sean comes up with the carom. Quickly up the floor. His pass broken up. He's looking for Spurlock, but it's taken away by the Cougs. Jolly with the basketball. Now Herrera kicking it out for Saavedra. Reese with the steal. Quickly up the floor to Collum. Collum gathers himself, and he lays it up and in.
Nice pass by Reese. Leads them out in front. Collum with the advantage, able to keep it and finish.
Challengers pulling away in this one. And Saavedra loses the defender Lewis, passes inside for South Almavar. Good defense once again by Cascade Christian. Sean, bounce pass up the floor for Reese. Reese iced the three. It's a little bit long. Collum runs down the long rebound. Collum over in the near side corner. And he starts to make his move, and Herrera, with his hands caught in the cookie jar, and I think he knows it.
Picks up foul number 4 for him, though. He's got to watch it here. He's going to be on the bench. He has not been on the floor very much in this game because of that.
Kitching returns to the ball game. Saavedra goes out. And now also coming into the ball game, Stephen Shirley. 2 team fouls each. Collum eyes the triple. His shot just a little bit long. And Spurlock tries to get the rebound, but getting the carom is Jolly. Jolly up the floor for Hess. Passes in the corner to Kitching. Kitching back out to Hess. Hess in front of his own bench. Feeds it inside. Nice pass to South Almavar. He misses the shot. And we have a whistle foul called.
I think that's on Lane Collum. That's going to be his third. So lots of people collecting fouls again in this half, just like it was in the first half. And 3 fouls to 2 fouls so far on the team count. Challengers with 3, and multiple guys now for Cascade Christian with 3 fouls. Keegan Sean has 3, Dom Lewis with 3, and Lane Collum with 3.
South Almavar, his first shot, back iron, no good. Jacob Schmidt making his first appearance of the night. Also in is Kai Koster, who contributed 5 off the challenger bench in the first half. South Almavar gets another look. Second attempt, that one goes. 38-14. Sean, bounce pass to Reese. Reese, skip pass over for Lewis, and it's broken up by Hess. Hess with the basketball, leads the charge up the floor. Challengers do a good job of getting back defensively. They have a drive along the baseline, and a whistle and a foul called.
Against Cody Reese. I think that's going to be his second.
And
wonder who called that foul.
I do wonder. 4th team foul for the Challengers. Seth Almavar drives to the hoop. His shot, nothing but glass. Sean collects the rebound, takes it out of backcourt. Goes to the left hand now. Koster left to the top of the key behind the arc. Goes over for Sean. Guard to guard exchange. Now for Reese. Reese thinks about a 3. Koster will take one, and that one's a little off to the right, but Lewis there with the offensive rebound. Gets it for Reese. And a steal by Kitching. Kitching quickly up the floor for Jolly. And just a whole lot of mess there. Looked like he was going to go for the throwdown.
He was, and I think Cody fouled him. That's going to be 3 on Cody. So now 4 of the Challenger starters with 3 fouls.
For Reese now, that'll be his third. Get the feeling that both these teams will be reaching
deep
to the
into
end of the bench.
Yes, deep into the bench by the time this one's done.
First free throw by Jolly is good.
3 for 3 on the night from the line is Jolly so far. That gives him 5 points.
And he can't get that one to stick, but there with the offensive rebound, putting it up and in is Stephen Shirley.
And that's one of Coach Morris's pet peeves, is to have issues with free throw box outs, and they had one right there.
And we have a turnover as Reese tries to thread the needle on a pass to Schmidt. So, Challengers, they've got a 21-point lead, but still plenty of room, things to work on. Shirley driving to the hoop. And we have a whistle, a foul called.
That's on Dom Lewis. That's going to be number 4.
So, just like that, the Challengers' leading scorer on the first night of the season will take a seat on the Challenger bench. Free throw attempt by Shirley is no good. Sean's in along with Braden Coppage. Second attempt, that one's good. 38-18.
Illinois Valley kind of extending into a 1-2-2 zone here to see what they can do against the Challengers.
Coppage, his three-point attempt is long. He'll quickly get up the floor to Kitching. Kitching loses the basketball, but it was last touched by the Challengers.
Good hustle by Coppage, getting back and getting a hand on that, keeping it from being an easy hoop.
Brim will come in. Sean will come out. So Brim, Coppage, Schmidt, Reese, and Coster in the ball game. For the basketball is Jolly. A little give and go play.
And he'll go back to the free throw line, and that foul I think is going to be on Christian Brim.
And for Christian, I believe that'll be his first of the ball game. For the Challengers, they're in the bonus now. The Cougars with 2 team fouls in the third. First free throw attempt by Jolly is good.
That's 4 for 5 from him from the free throw line. He's kind of making his living there tonight.
Second attempt, that one's good. 38-20. The Challengers with the 18-point lead. Reese with the basketball, drives hard, feeds it inside. But that fastball, just a little too hard.
It's got to be a good firm pass, but it has to be soft enough that somebody can catch it, and kind of threw that one right through the hands of Braden Coppage.
So the Challengers with the turnover. Hess with the basketball, guarded by Reese. Feeds it for Shirley, guarded by Coppage. Kitching starts a drive now to South Almavar. Little running hook shot, and we have a whistle in the backcourt.
I think South Almavar is going to pick up his third foul.
So we got a timeout called on the floor. 3:40 left to go in the third. We'll take a timeout and be back with more hoops on Table Rock Sports.
Hello, I'm Lennox Scott, Chairman and CEO of John O. Scott Real Estate. In 1931, my grandfather started John O. Scott Real Estate. I would like to take a moment to thank you for your trust in allowing us to serve your real estate needs. Helping you realize your home ownership dreams is why we do what we do. But one thing is clear, it takes place one client at a time, each individual buyer or seller, because at the end of the day, it comes down to you. The past few years have been an incredible time of growth for us. We now have over 110 offices and more than 3,000 broker associates in the states of Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and California. But our higher purpose is living life as a contribution.
They've tied us. They've got 7, and we've got 7 in this quarter so far.
38-20. Challengers up against a Cougar team that is slowly but surely trying to claw their way back in it. Coppage with the basketball. Go to the floor to Brim. Brim is shot just a little bit too hard. Brim tries to save it. Gets it up high for Reese. Reese to Coppage. Coppage to Collum. This challenger passes, got a lot of zip on him. Not always accurate. But they managed to hang on here, and Reese takes the cross-court pass. Now to Collum, down in the corner to Brem. Collum now back up top. Coster has an open look at this one and out, but Coppage is there with the offensive rebound. Reese now to Collum. Back up top it goes. Coster with the basketball. Bounce pass to Brem. Coster gets it. Challengers being patient here. Looking for a good shot. Now Coppage has it. He'll kick it out for Collum. Collum eyes the three, and it is good.
Little step back there from Collum. His third three-pointer of the game.
When he gets it dialed in, he's dangerous.
And another foul. See who that one's on.
Looks like that one's going to go against Brem, I think, and that'll be his second personal. We'll send Jolly to the charity stripe. His first free throw attempt is good. Brem comes out of the game as Keegan Sean comes back. Jolly second attempt. That one's a little bit long off the back iron. Reese has the basketball. He's going to drive quickly out of the backcourt. And then he's going to go ahead and pull up. And we have a push.
On Tanner Jolly, I think. And that's going to be out of bounds to the challengers. I think that's just Jolly's first foul, which is pretty amazing. Yeah. Pretty amazing that anybody doesn't have any fouls yet.
Collum will take care of the inbounding. Coppage has the basketball. And this call will go against
Hess, I think, and that'll be 3 on him.
So just when it looks like somebody's going to pull away in the foul count, then the other team manages to quickly catch up.
Yeah, it has certainly been a lot of fouls called tonight, that's for sure.
Reese with the basketball to Coster over on the far side wing in front of the challenger bench. Skip pass over to Collum. He'll eye the triple, and he gets another one.
4 threes in the game so far for Collum, and he's shooting the lights out from the three-point line.
Takeaway challengers. Keegan Sean with the basketball to Coster. He iced the three. It's good. Raining basketballs in the pavilion tonight as the challengers dial up distance on 2 consecutive possessions, come away with 6 points.
Collum now with 18 in the game after that last 3.
Pass into the interior. Shirley starts to make a move. And Collum swats at it.
And I think that'll be his 4th foul. It will be.
So now Spurlock will get ready to check in for Collum. Tell you what this has done is it's made for a long ball game.
Absolutely. Anytime you see as many, we had 20 fouls in the first half. There's 14 on the board here. That's 34 fouls already called in this game.
Spurlock into the ball game.
And you look at one like that. Lane's hand was already up. The ball came directly to his hand. Did not look like a foul to me. And yet, again, it's called. So.
Second attempt. That one's good. So the Cougs pick up a pair on that trip to the free throw line. Sean to Coppage. Coppage shot rims off, but we have a foul on the other end. Round and round it goes. Where it stops, nobody knows.
Nobody knows, that is for sure.
Till time runs out.
South Amavog, that's his 4th foul as well. There may not be any players on either team to finish this one the way it's going.
Well, I just heard, I think, of a recent game where one team was playing shorthanded and they were down to 4 players at the end. Coppage in and out on both of those attempts, but Reese ends up taking the ball, and there with the foul is South Amavar.
And that will be his 5th. He'll be done for the night.
So John's So Thamapar, that'll be a night for him. And I tell you what, that kid is built like a block of stone.
Yeah, and he's actually pretty agile for his size. You got to give him some credit. He's a big kid, but he moves around pretty well down there, and that'll be the night for him. And they'll bring in Herrera, who's seen very little time in this basketball game for the same reason. He's been in foul trouble. So a minute 14 to go in the fourth. They have to bring their other post guy in who's also got 4 fouls.
Reese's second attempt. That one's good. 48-23. Reese gets another one. Nice touch from the free throw line. Challengers up by 26. Steal by Reese. He lays it in with the left hand. 2.
He is so quick, Reese is. And a steal now by Braden Coppage and a lay-in.
I tell you what, the Challengers lighten it up here in the third quarter. Keyed by the defense. Hess with a move to the hoop.
And we got a foul on somebody.
And this one will go against
I think that's gone Kai Koster.
For Kai, that's just his
first foul.
Yeah.
There has been somebody else playing in the game that only has 1.
And that puts the Challengers in the double bonus. First free throw attempt by Hess. Now here's a guy that's been seeing major minutes since his freshman year. Just year after year, he's the guy that gives the Cougars their floor leadership.
Makes both the free throws. Struggled tonight, though, handling the ball against Reese's pressure. He's got 9 turnovers tonight.
Kitchings with the basketball. Bounce pass to Jolly, and he lays it up and in. 31 seconds left to go. Sean up the floor to Brem. Brem. Oh, man, he's got to learn to make those shots.
Yeah, that's 2 layups he's missed tonight.
Some of it, I'm sure, he's just not used to that varsity playing time and gets a little too excited right now, the Cougars.
He does get a rebound on the other end, though.
He does play a good game. Like I said, I think it's a matter of him just kind of calming down and being in the moment. Driving is Spurlock, and they call him for the travel.
His feet kind of got tangled up with the defender, and maybe they decided not to call a foul for a change.
53-27, and Hess going to air the buzzer heave, and it is no good. After 3 quarters of play, the Cascade Christian Challengers lead in this one 53-27. We'll be back after we pause and recognize our sponsors on TableRockSports.net.
It takes meticulous planning, continuous monitoring, and forward thinking to deliver the perfect 3-egg omelet.
For several weeks, the Southern Oregon Sports Commission has shown you examples of good sportsmanship and bad sportsmanship. Here's why. 75% of youth athletes quit sports by the age of 13 because they're not having fun. 75% of rookie referees also quit each year. Why? Well, it's because of the way they're treated by coaches and parents. We can do better. We must do better. Know your role. Learn more at southernoregonsports.com.
Back at the pavilion, we're getting ready for the fourth quarter of play. The Challengers lead in this one, 53-27. Keegan Shawn, Nathan Spurlock, Cody Reese, Lane Collum, and Dom Lewis in the ball game. The original starting lineup. Herrera's in for the Cougars, along with Jolly, Kitching, Hess, and Saavedra. Cougar basketball. They feed it to Jolly.
Keegan Sean come over and making a nice play on that, knocks it out of bounds. Let's see what's the over-under on Dom and Lane making it through the quarter without getting their 5th foul.
Ooh,
couple minutes,
I say maybe yeah, if that. Collum on the breakaway, lays it up with the left hand, and that gives him 20 for the night. Lane Collum, he's off to a good start this season.
He is. Very efficient tonight, too.
14 points in the opener against Rogue River.
He's 8 for 15 tonight, so almost a little over 50% from the field. So very efficient tonight for Lane.
Herrera with the basketball. He's going to eye the triple. His shot off target. There with the rebound is Spurlock. Spurlock picks up his dribble, gets it back to Sean. Now Reese has it. Just inside the Cyclops at midcourt. Dom thinks about a 3, drives, pulls up. His shot in and out. And there with the rebound is Herrera. Some of it is a byproduct of the fouls, but Lewis has been quiet tonight. But here, he gets a gimme, and he connects.
Gets a steal and a lay-in for a quick challenger bucket.
Well, there's one way to fatten your batting average. Kitching with the basketball, tries to feed it inside to Herrera. And Herrera just momentarily had his back turned. It ends up going out of bounds. It'll be challenger ball with 6:40 left to go. Reese, up the floor it goes. For Sean, now to Collum. Challenger spreading the floor. Lewis with the drive and his shot off the side of the glass. Lewis making a play for the ball there, backs off, and Coster getting ready to check back in. Hess feeds it over into the corner. Up top it goes to Jolly. Jolly has had his moments. And we have a foul called against Lane Collum.
Well, he almost made the 2 minutes. There's 6:12 left on the clock.
Oh.
So Lane Collum fouls out with his 5th.
Sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug.
Yep, and that is the 38th foul by our unofficial count, but I'm pretty sure we're pretty close in the basketball game. Tanner Jolly, who's made a living at the free throw line tonight. He's 7 for 9 now.
That's a pretty good night.
And he's got a couple of buckets to go with it. And make him 8 for 10. He's got 12 points tonight, 8 of them from the charity stripe.
Well, he's got that nice soft touch.
He's long, lengthy guy too.
Coppage with the shot. And it's rebounded by Jolly. Jolly now broken up by Coppage. Reese with the basketball, weaves out of traffic. Up the floor he goes to Sean. Kicks it back for Coster. Coster eyes the triple. And he buries it.
Love to see Coster get going. That's his 3rd 3 of the night. He's got 11 points for the Challengers off the bench.
Well, he's going to be a nice addition to the team.
He is. He's a good shooter. And you always can use shooters, right?
Yep, we'll had him on the soccer team. Nice coachable player. Good kid.
Good hands that time by Keegan Sean.
And we got the night shift coming in. Ryan Krell, Christian Brem, and Jacob Schmidt as Spurlock, Reese, and Sean go out.
All right, so good night for those guys.
We'll see how all these guys can close out.
Keegan Sean with only 6 points, but he had a great night on the boards and had a good night running some of the offense through the middle and through him.
Herrera with a move to the hoop.
Jacob Schmidt in the foul column. That's his first. Or actually, nope, they're going to call it on, I take it back, they're going to call it on Braden Coppage.
Braden just his first foul of the ball game. Miss on the free throw, but Savadra is there, and he cashes it in. 60-33. Crowell with the basketball with the left hand. Up the floor it goes, and Herrera and Brem there. They say Brem touched it last.
Yeah, it went off Brem's hands. A little bit of a rough pass that time by Ryan Crowell. He's got to take his time and find the open guy. Time is your friend here with 5 minutes to go.
Absolutely. Hess with the ball moving to his left. Up top it goes for Herrera. Herrera thought about a shot for a second, but Schmidt there for the defense. Herrera's going to pull up, shoot. His shot short. Wrestling away the rebound is Ryan.
I think Herrera just double dribbled and nobody called it, but that's not my problem, I guess. And then they're going to call it travel on the other end. Oh, I'm pretty sure he double dribbled down here. But,
yeah. I guess at some point in the game, there's some things you just kind of let go.
Yep, like that LeBron travel the other night. Did you see that?
No, I didn't. But I kind of can picture in my mind what it might look like. Is it one of those?
Well, he just picked up the ball and took 2 steps and then started dribbling again. Nobody called anything.
I've seen Westbrook do that once in a game.
Yep, very similar to that.
Drive to the hoop. Hess makes it 60-35. Coppage hasn't it taken away by the Cougars defense. Hess on the drive, his shot short. Coppage with the rebound. Outlets for Coster. Coster 1-on-2. He's going to drive to the hole. Misses the shot. And a little surprised that there wasn't a foul called there.
But there was a foul on the rebound.
Okay. That's all I have to say about that.
Mm-hmm.
Brem.
Christian Brem picking up his 3rd.
Well, he's got to catch up to everybody else.
Foul number 39. No, I think that's foul number 40 in the game, by
mercy.
my count. Tell you one thing, this game has had 0 flow because of all the calls.
Yeah. Granted, some of it warranted. Some of it it's like, I'm not, yeah.
Well, we'll see a lot of games this year and 30-second timeout, and we'll see a lot of games this year as it goes along, and I'm sure that we'll see all different kinds of officiating. And part of the problem is it is early season. The guys have to adjust to the officials.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a little bit of time to do that, and you've got to do that in game. Each game's going to be officiated a little bit differently, and so how it's officiated, you have to adjust to what they're calling and what they're not calling in the basketball game as you go through the game. And it's early in the season, so the kids aren't quite as used to that yet, as used to those adjustments, and so we're seeing a lot of fouls and a lot of calls.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it reminds me of the days, it used to be back in the day that the American League in baseball had the reputation for being a high strike league, National League, a low strike league. And if you were a pitcher who went from one league to the other,
you had to adjust.
Right. It's going to be what it's going to be, and you can either adjust or you're just going to have trouble. Meanwhile, we have a whistle in the Challenger backcourt. I know of one particular gentleman on this crew who's also officiated soccer, and quite frankly, he calls a tight game.
Yep.
And so if he's an officiating game, as a defensive player, you have to think about adjusting it accordingly.
Yep, you really do.
You won't last long.
No. And sort of known to be called that way.
Crowell with the first free throw attempt. I believe that is his first points of the night.
It is.
He had 6, I believe, off the Challenger bench on Saturday night.
Quite a few in the JV game earlier tonight as well. Makes
got a nice looking stroke.
He can shoot it, no doubt about it.
Herrera, kind of tell just for a moment, he took his eye off of it. He had designs on doing something, but forgot to take the ball with him.
And this little half-court trap that Illinois Valley is running is affecting the second group a little bit more than it did the first group.
Coppage to Schmidt in the high post. Gets it back up for Coppage. Back up top to Coster. Now to Schmidt. Schmidt to Crowell. He iced the 3. Shot just a little bit long. Rebound comes out to the Cougars. Kitching up the floor. He'll dish it back. A little bit of showtime there. But Saavedra ended up missing the shot. But a whistle and a foul called against Cascade Christian. And that'll send Saavedra
to the free throw line.
Stars Saavedra, 6'1" sophomore. First free throw attempt, it's good.
And he's got some decent size to him for a sophomore, as you mentioned. And
Well,
has a good flow to his game. He got himself in a little bit of foul trouble in this early as well, and really wasn't as much of a factor as maybe he could have been if he didn't get in those kind of troubles. Knocks down both free throws, and he has 6 points in the game.
checking into the ball game will be Anders Mielke, junior forward. Again, a lot of juniors on both the boys and the girls rosters. So a lot of these guys will have them around again next year. A little bit of a trap there. Brem to Coster. Coster moves to the hoop. His shot a little bit short. Gets his own rebound, but has that blocked. Bounce pass out to Crowell. Crowell guarded by Kitching. And over and back.
I don't know if you noticed, but that's one of a coach's pet peeves right there. Crowell has the ball here. He takes one dribble and picks it up. You're dead.
Yeah.
You know, you can't do anything after that. You know, it's one of the really rough plays in basketball. You cannot, if you have your dribble, you can move. If you take one dribble and stop, you went nowhere, and now you can't move. It's a very I'm sure that'll get talked to him about in that particular instance.
Hess with the basketball behind the arc. Now over for Herrera. He'll eye the three. There on the weak side of the shot is Crowell with the rebound. Up the floor he goes to Coster. Coster eyes the triple. The shot off to the left, no good. Rebound by Jolly. Up the floor it goes to Saavedra. Saavedra tied up by Schmidt, and he takes it away. Schmidt up the floor it goes to Coster. Now to Mielke. Mielke traveled, though, as he started to make his move. So with 2:22 left to go in the ball game, Cougars get it back. Challengers looking to run their record to 2-0 on the season. Cougars will fall to 1-2. And good defense there by the Challengers, but the Cougars keep it. Herrera misses on the drive. Loose ball comes out to Coster. Coster up the floor to Crowell. Crowell drives the baseline, passes across, and burying the shot, Anders Mielke. Makes it 64-38.
It's actually one of Anders' favorite little shots there on the baseline. Good to see him knock one down in a varsity game.
Herrera with a drive to the hoop. He lays it up and in. 64-40 with 1:35 to go. Crowell in the backcourt now to Coster. Coster double team. Mielke out to Crowell, back to Mielke. He's left to the paint, loses control of the ball. Herrera has it. Bounce pass at the floor. Saavedra with the left hand on the breakaway.
Saavedra now has 8 points in the ball game.
64-42. Crowell with the basketball, double teamed. Over Coster. Coster. And he goes ahead and pulls up. His little runner bounces around and off. Rebound by Herrera. Quickly up the floor for Shirley. Shirley
runs directly into a set Ryan Crowell, who's standing there straight up and down, and yet he gets called for the foul. And that's one of those calls to me. That's not a foul. If you're standing there with your hands up and the other person, the offensive player, runs into you, how is that a foul on you? But anyway.
Nonetheless, that's the call. And at the free throw line is Shirley.
He's 4 for 5 now from the free throw line, and he'll get one more.
Well, that is one thing that the Cougars proven that they can shoot free throws.
Yeah, they're a pretty good, darn good free throw shooting team.
Isaac Cannell back in the ball game. 64-44. Coster picks up his dribble now for Crowell. Crowell drives, goes to the hoop, and he misses. But there is Schmidt. His shot won't go. Gets his own. There's Mielke there with the rebound. We have a whistle and a foul. So like we saw on Saturday night, there's a couple of times they have those gimmies and they can't connect on them.
Yeah, you got to finish the chippies, and the Challengers have had a little bit of trouble finishing the chippies.
Mielke, first free throw attempt, back iron, no good. 38 seconds left to go. Mielke eyes the second. That one's a little bit short. Goes in and out of the hands of Schmidt. And Cannell has it, gives it up quickly up the floor to Shirley. Shirley now for Bardo, who misses the shot. Shirley, though, with a bucket to make it 64-46. Crowell feeds it to Mieleke. Mieleke kind of in an awkward spot there.
He needed to go up with it right away and didn't do it.
Going the other way, Saavedra, his shot no good. Coster with the rebound. Coster will just dribble it up the floor and let time run out. Cascade Christian Challengers now 2-0 on the season, defeating the Illinois Valley Cougars. Your final score, Cascade Christian 64 and the Cougars 46. We'll take a timeout and be back with the post-game wrap-up here on Table Rock Sports.
Hello, I'm Lennox Scott, Chairman and CEO of John O. Scott Real Estate. In 1931, my grandfather started John O. Scott Real Estate. I would like to take a moment to thank you for your trust in allowing us to serve your real estate needs. Helping you realize your home ownership dreams is why we do what we do. But one thing is clear, it takes place one client at a time, each individual buyer or seller, because at the end of the day, it comes down to you. The past few years have been an incredible time of growth for us. We now have over 110 offices and more than 3,000 broker associates in the states of Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and California. But our higher purpose is living life as a contribution.
What is a getaway? Is it leaving the familiar behind? Or discovering a place that feeds your hunger? Where passion sings, food is a culture, and every performance demands an encore. So let the journey be your destination. Then feast your eyes and nourish your soul in Southern Oregon. Your reservation starts when you travel Medford.
For several weeks, the Southern Oregon Sports Commission has shown you examples of good sportsmanship and bad sportsmanship. Here's why. 75% of youth athletes quit sports by the age of 13 because they're not having fun. 75% of rookie referees also quit each year. Why? Well, it's because of the way they're treated by coaches and parents. We can do better. We must do better. Know your role. Learn more at southernoregonsports.com.
Back here at the Pavilion, the Cascade Christian Challengers come away victorious with a 64-46 victory against the Illinois Valley Cougars. A hard-fought early first quarter, but the Challengers with early lift from Lane Cullum, who had the first 7 points of the ball game for Cascade Christian, got them off to a good start. And the Challengers found themselves up by 8 after the end of the first quarter. In the second quarter, the Challengers kept the defensive pressure up and outscored Illinois Valley 14-4 to extend their lead to 18 points at halftime. Then in the third quarter, the Challengers just went crazy. They really had it going, especially from three-point range. I think we'll find tonight when we look at the final stats, the Challengers doing a great job of connecting from downtown in that third quarter. A variety of players getting into the act. Not only you have Lane Collum, who was lights out. They also, Keegan Sean made the most of his opportunities. Also had a couple of bombs from Kai Coster off the bench. And so really a good night for the Challengers. And then second quarter, the fourth quarter, once the Challenger reserves got in and the fouls started piling up, then things kind of slowed down a little bit, but the Challengers come away with a win, and I'm sure no doubt they can look at some things and say, okay, we need to make some improvements in these areas, but we've got something we can build off of.
Yeah, I think that's definitely right. And you look at the shooting tonight, Cascade Christian 22 for 55 on the night. That's 40%, a little bit up from the game against Rogue River, so they shot a little bit better tonight. On the other side of the coin, Illinois Valley 13 for 40, just 33%. But look at the difference in shots. The Challengers with 15 more shots than the Cougars tonight, and that's mostly due to the turnovers. It looks like the Cougars ended the game with about 30 turnovers on the night, and after having 20 in the first half, it might have been actually closer to 35. I didn't actually count them all on the game. So, they really turned the ball over. That really was the Achilles heel for them. The Challengers end the game with about 16 turnovers on the night. So, anytime you turn the ball over 30 times, you got some problems. And we ended up having 44 fouls in that game. Woo. So there was a lot of free throw shot. Illinois Valley, 20 for 28. That's 71%. So they did a good job from the free throw line shooting tonight. And they picked up 20 points from the free throw line. So anytime you can pick up that many points from the free throw line, that's a bonus for your team. The Challengers, 9 for 18. They shot 50% from the free throw line tonight. And so not too bad for them, but, you'd like to see better than 50% from the free throw line. Scoring tonight for Illinois Valley, Saavedra had 8, Shirley had 9, Tanner Jolly had 12, and he had 8 of those 12 points from the free throw line. Sam Hess with 6, Herrera had 8, and Southamavog had 3. For the Challengers, Cody Reese had 9, Kai Koster with 11, Ryan Crowell had 2, Keegan Shawn had 6, Anders Mielke had 2, Braden Coppage had 4, Dominic Lewis had 8, and Lane Collum leading the way with 20 points for Cascade Christian. And we mentioned it, very efficient on the night. He shoots 8 for 15, 7 for 15, on the night. So a good job by him of being efficient with his points and getting them in the right places. Cody Reese also pretty efficient, 3 for 5 on the night, and you mentioned it, Kai Koster with the 3 So the Challengers tonight, 4 threes by Lane Collum, 1 by Keegan Shawn, 2 by Kai Koster, and 1 by Cody Reese. So that's the kind of effort the Challengers are going to have to see shooting the basketball, especially making some of those threes like they did early. Gives them a lead and gives them an opportunity to keep that pressure on. And I think the difference in the game was when you force over 30 turnovers by the other team because of your pressure defense, you got a lot of easy runouts and a lot of easy baskets.
You bet. Well, that'll wrap up tonight's ball game. Again, thank you for tuning in tonight. Our cameraman, Nate Goodyear, thank you for helping us get set up and powering through it all to bring you tonight's action, both the boys and the girls game, and look forward to bringing you more along the way as the season unfolds. For Mark McLemore, I'm Jim McCoy. Have a good night, everybody.